I have someone coming in later. A customer I haven't seen before. He wants some spider potions or something. He wasn't very clear. I really should try and make this place a bit tidier before he gets here. This isn't supposed to be here. This should be locked away. This is one of the most powerful things I have. Inside this is part of a great witch motorland. It comes from one of the strangest stories of wizard history. Now, wizards generally employ owls in sending messages, but when Motorland attempted to mobilize an army to conquer the magic world, she used some everyday animals. She used bugs. Wizards hardly keep a tab on what bugs do, thus nobody saw they were conveying Motorland's message. That the animals who go in with them would achieve magical powers, such as the skill to endure fire, or produce acid that would burn the skin of a wizard. Motorland's devilish designs effectively started to spread when the caterpillars joined ranks with her. As when animals learnt about the prospect of gaining magical powers from her, they rapidly spread the news. Promptly, several caterpillars started off to persuade others to join ranks with her. Then, she cast magic on the moths and butterflies. Thus they also turned into messengers and conveyed the word up there in the canopy of the jungles. Motorland's militia started to swell. But as her supporters started to throng, the noble wizards understood what her designs were, and to end the progress of her militia, they asked for the spiders' aid. Because the spiders were capable of setting traps across the forests. Traps which are impeccable to trap moth messengers. The spiders halted her flying creatures, but the noble wizards also required to hold her ground force back, and requested the spiders to mobilize an army of ants. It was very soon as Motorland's army had to watch out. Several of them perished under attack. Motorland understood she wouldn't be able to earn a victory with the spiders against her, so she masqueraded as one of them. But true spiders have very sharp eyesight and could spot her disguise. They pressed the alarm bell, and there was no fleeing now. The noble wizards went in and amputated all her legs to put an end to all her evil designs once and for all. And all 8 legs are kept separately. I am proud to be one of the guardians, which is quite a responsibility. If all 8 legs were reunited, she could rise up and start causing trouble again. I should stay more vigilant, particularly if strangers are around, asking for spider parts.
My old school chest. Good grief! To think I used to have to wear one of these. Ah, my school reports. Inside these bottles are my teacher's remarks.
He really must try harder, and his homework is a disgrace.
Well, yes, that must be potions.
An appalling year's work.
Now, this one should be better.
An excellent pupil.
Ah, yes, human studies. The magical folk tend not to have much to do with the straight human types, but having some idea of what the humans do is part of the final year exams.
As expected, I had left it all to the 11th hour. I had to do a report on human beings, so I sought the help of the animals. Rats can lurk around cities far more easily than wizards.
The blue penguins also enrolled themselves. And a group of raccoons consented to aid.
The rats sneaked in human houses and sent back reports on what they loved to have.
My school was happy to get this very handy piece of information, as wizards sometimes mingle with human beings.
They look so unfitting when they don't even know what the humans eat. More such reports on food came from the raccoons, since the human beings waste so much of their food. These reports were handy, but I asked my informers to be on guard for any outlandish human behavior. When the blue penguin informed me about dancing people, I could not stop myself from adding a tiny magic spell. To stick their dancing for a while, I tried a couple of speeds. That amused the penguins in a big way. And they even tried emulating them. But I had to find out something about human beings which wizards were not aware of much. Such as what they did in those enormous city towers. And the simplest way was to seek the help of the peregrine falcons. They are adept in finding the perfect place to watch human beings. They informed me that the human beings are ruled by computers, which would be useful for the wizards, as by fiddling with these machines, wizards can influence their world. Other towers were filled up with books. As they were not magic books, I sent in the spider beetle, just to be a little naughty. He devoured an impeccably straight line through more than 20 books.
It was well worth the effort to see the total bewilderment on the faces of the human beings. So I finished my one good report with the animals' help, and the penguins did remind me to unstick the humans. That's all such a long time ago. I rarely inquire about what the human types are up to now, but if I ever needed to, I should know whom to ask. I wonder... Now, which one is it? The lightning one. Fine, but not what I'm looking for. The laughing one. A ridiculous invention. Now, yes, this is what I was looking for. I have someone coming in later on who needs to borrow this for a while. I made this one for my nephew, who came to me when he realized he was colorblind, which meant the products of his spells were always black. Actually, it was true that every spell ingredient he produced was black. Therefore, to add some tint to his life, I chose to make a color wand for him. In this stick, I put in the most glaring colors. And when the wand was all set, I sent him off for preparation, with firm orders to practice only one color at a time, beginning with orange. I was stunned in the beginning with his orange designs, but he didn't pay heed to the orders. He was bored of producing only orange and chose to try greens, purples, and pinks. Ugh, his sense of colour was so very wrong. I had asked him to concentrate on only one colour at a time to avoid this kind of idiocy with colour. I had to make him realise his folly and put an end to his fun. Therefore, I switched the lights off. But he signalled with his wand in the dark, and sparks from the wand caused weird creatures to sparkle and shine. He even came across the fact that he was capable of producing sparks from his wand, which started to glow if a fish gobbled it up. Enthused about his new colours, he departed from the sea and tinted the very first beetle he came across, making it glow like the waterborne fish. And at that night, he furthered his objective by producing more shining beetles, till the fields dazzled with his ingenuity. He knew for sure that I would get to know what naughtiness he was involved in, but I didn't get the chance to prevent him from trying out the colour wand on the green chameleons. They grumbled about their new colours, but he gradually began to get accustomed to the idea. And they even thought the new appearance was very amusing. But the newly coloured chameleons began to mock the normal ones, jeering at how insipid they seemed. Thus, the games of my nephew had to come to an end. He returned the wand to me, and it does come in quite handy for adding a little colour to one's life. I really must sort this place out. If someone comes in asking for a dog bark remover, then it takes me an age to find anything. Well, now this is something I haven't seen for ages. I wonder if it still works. Regalian! Mugwall, what are you doing here? Oh, Regalian's busy, is he? Oh, well, I guess you'll do. This, my little friend, is known as a spirit ball. When I place it next to you, it reveals the history of your spirit. Ah, yes, wolves, obviously. Your dog's soul recalls its wilder past. Regardless of the different shapes you dogs have assumed, wolves are your ancestors. Your soul can recall how it moved in a pack. Oh, now what is that we have here? Well, is that human beings I notice? Mugwall, you must be a mixed breed because you possess the spirit of the human dogs inside you. Human beings have taken note of the abilities you dogs have and made use of your natural qualities to their benefit. Where now? You possess natural as well as human traits. Let's find out. Of course, the hunting talents of your predecessors. The wolf side of your nature can take down prey much bigger in size than itself. And they encircle the much more feeble animals before killing it. Oh, the human side of yours, recalling the wolf methods. The human dogs possess similar skills. Mutually they work to gather around the cattle, but they have lost their wild instincts because they hunt no more. In its place, they adhere to what the humans do. Come again. Wolves in a pack. I understand. Human beings are now a part of your pack. Not at all surprising, I suppose, because the spirit of the dog was not meant to run by itself, but to cohabit with a boss to control you. But now what idiocy is this? Running trapped in chains? With human beings the head of their pack, there are dogs that will always prefer running in chains? Mugwall, you need to be cautious of this human side of yours. These dogs have permitted their wild side to be controlled. The voice of your spirit. With time, your voice might have undergone some changes, but even now you are familiar with the howls of your predecessor. Now this truly should set an example for you, Mugwall. A mixed breed like you should stick to your wild side and beware of getting affected by human dogs. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I really don't understand what's happening. We must be picking up some act of intrusion from nearby. Mugwall, wake up, you mutt. The spirit ball is picking up your dreams. After all I've told you, poodles, really, of all the things. Snakeskin! Snakeskin! Wizards are always asking for snakeskin. What? I don't think this is snakeskin. Now I wonder... Hey, it is. It really is. My old piece of dragon skin.
Dragons were responsible for a baffling human problem we once faced. The magic world prefers to exist far away from the one humans live in. We hardly know anything related to the human world and their beliefs. However, what we do know is for humans, dragons don't exist. They believe that these lizards are the only creatures they have come across who have dragon-like features. And how do we know about it? Well, actually, it all originates from a trouble my Uncle Zachary once caused. He was the most famous and the best dragon tamer ever. The forest saw him training several kinds, and he held them away from sight. However, the smoky dragon breaths covered the forest, and as their numbers increased, the columns of smoke floated far and caught human attention. Zack believed that his dragons were well concealed, but the wizards who kept a watch on the human world informed him that pictures of dragons had materialized there. Zack was compelled to leave. The dragon's smoky breath was cleared from the forest. However, he left some behind inadvertently. Stories poured in of further pictures of abandoned dragons attacking humans, and a number of courageous humans beginning to fight back.
But this madness of humans fighting dragons couldn't go on. Shame. But it really doesn't do to let the human and magic world mix.
Hence the wandering dragons were captured and taken out from the human world. Nevertheless, it was because of Zack that humans saw dragons, so it was his responsibility now to make humans believe that they never saw actual dragons. He cast a confusion spell, a magic he put on creatures that resembled dragons. On the crocodiles, for they had skins similar to dragons. Thus, when humans encountered these animals, they thought that it was these creatures that were responsible for the problems. And they had never encountered an actual dragon with its smoky breath. The monitor lizards have a forked tongue similar to dragons, and so the humans thought that it must have been these animals they had come across. The spell worked its magic so well that the humans named one of them after a dragon. The Komodo dragon. It is perhaps the only creature which is so close in resemblance to the real one. And they have been reported to ambush humans in times before. Luckily for Zack, the spell worked, and human memory soon got erased of the fact that they had seen actual dragons. As far as we're concerned, we learnt from my Uncle Zack's blunders. We now make it a point that if humans witness anything they should not, we wash away their memory of that episode. So that nothing like this happens again. For Zack, well, people say that he stopped domesticating dragons. However, when I was a kid, he sent me this piece of skin
from his favorite dragon, the Western Blue. So I'm sure he's still out there somewhere. Ah, yes. Dragons never lose their spark.